Good afternoon, this YouTube, wherever you are in the world today. Um, it's Saturday, March 8th. It's beautiful, beautiful, beautiful weather outside, and the sun is shining, and we're living in front of this park, and you know, people are lying and sunbathing and walking their dogs, doing games, those kind of things. And we're middle in the city, so it's kind of unique. Yeah, it's lovely to see. Um, but I thought, well, hey, let's make another video of myself because um, we can keep going with those animated videos. So I love to write, I love to write, but to tell it, it's a different story. So it's another easy way to express yourself, but uh, it's always good to see the face with it. And I don't have a particular story today, I guess, but what I wish to say or share is that I noticed that it's very common or popular these days for, or not for in the Muslim community, is there's a lot of talking about forgiveness, and I think that's a very good thing. And if 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 one enters if one enters paradise with a list of sins, it's me. So kindly, kindly forgive me for saying this, but it is. But I notice it that in the renewing scene of Islam, the forgiveness is a big thing, and um, I must admit that noticing that is this was one of the things that draw me over the line, and um, in a matter of being allowed to be yourself, be unique, be who you are. Uh, for the young ones, try to become who you are, but don't try, just live. You will find it. But I was thinking about, you know, how do you say this? There's a lot of conviction all the time, and I know, as you might notice, or I might have said it before, and I promise it's the last time I say it. I'm an avid reader. I love to read, and um, the last series I read was from Richard Francis Burton, and he was some kind of discovery traveler, and he wrote a book, or actually two books, and it was about well, the title is called, I guess, what I remember is my two trips to Gorilla Land. Now the Gorilla Land is Congo, of course, and that was that time also, but gorillas, they weren't, uh, you didn't even see them in the museum. They were unknown, and he was fascinated by gorillas. But he was fascinated by a lot of things on his travels, also by the pygmies, and by the people he met, and that guy was amazing. And traveling in that time was a very different thing than the traveling we do today. We go by plane, and we're there. We go to a hotel, we lie down, and everything is arranged. But those days were different, very different. It was called an expedition instead of a travel, and it beheld a lot of things. But what I admire in him, and with lots of other expedition travelers in yeah, around this time, is that they somehow just went into the unknown. And that's the kind of my point today. When you become a Muslim, when I became a Muslim, you also step into the unknown. And with that, I say that I really, 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 really wasn't aware that it was such a challenge. It is a challenge. It will stay a challenge, I guess, but it is a challenge. And um, I kind of thought about Richard Burton also because in his time he was convicted also. People didn't know for once where he was going to, uh, what he wanted to achieve. Later on they wrote about him. It was for the European trade, but they really didn't have no clue where he was heading to. So that's all afterwards. And sometimes you just have to follow what's in your heart, um, and do what you think you have to do, even if the whole world or your surroundings or whatever is telling something else or different or the opposite or no, or you know um, it's okay to fail. My life quote has been for a while: it's better to know how not to do things than to know how to do things. And I had a bit to do with my businesses, because before I had a few successful businesses, I had a lot of failing businesses, and it cost years of my life, and half my fortune. But it's the way you progress, and it's in you, and you want to progress in life, and there's planet in you. It's not something of you. Never, 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 never take that for an answer. If people say, for yeah, but that's you. That's you. You're created. You're created by someone who knows and figures out things way better than you and me. And that's why I think, wherever it may bring you, or whatever it may lead us, um, you have to walk those steps. And that's not an easy thing. That's not an easy thing, and certainly not in the days we live in today, because we have all things secured, and if you don't choose for the secured walk of life, then you are, you know uh, irresponsible, or yeah, better not hang out with him, because and but it's planted in you. It's planted in your DNA. Some people like to discover. Some people like to play basketball. Some people like to swim. Other people like to walk from I don't know, walk across South America from one point to B point. The whole continent, and they do it, and they accomplish it. And why do they accomplish? Because it's planted in them. It was supposed to be. And in that, I think a lot of time we are really, 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 really so much mistaken in our faith, and our belief system, because there's you hear so much around you, and uh, don't read that book, don't read that book, don't go there, don't go there, and no, 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 that's a dangerous cult, and that's a dangerous sect, and don't you better read this book, this book, this book, and avoid this and that. But why? You have to discover you have to discover yourself. If you don't discover it yourself, you always stay behind, frustrated, and thinking, if I only had, you know. And being 51 right now, the one thing you want to avoid is dead, and of that thought, if I only had. I mean, the between this of in Islam, you have a lot of differences also, and that's pretty much okay. Uh, but I noticed that there is some kind of the Sufi movement, for instance. Not everybody agrees with it. Are they Muslim? Or are they not Muslim? Or, well, the discussion lives, and um, if you read the the books, or the great Imam Al Ghazali, actually the great reformer of the great reviver of Islam in the around the 12th century. I remember, but he did it also. He went out to travel, and and to find answers on the questions he had, and or on the he wanted to find answers, or at least impressions, to see with his own eyes or hear with his own ears, to to get an answer for it, for himself. It wasn't for his community around it, or for the whole world. And he was a well-known man, and he has status, and but he went in a big crisis, and he went out, and he went out to with the Sufis also, and he found out, yeah, but in short, it was not his thing. But do it yourself. Do it yourself. Don't let yourself be told. Um, might be a bit of thin ice here, but because of course there's a lot of good advice by especially by more experienced men or women, um, who tell you to better not do this, because and you take that because it's the truth, and right away, it's the intention is good, and they have nothing to win with it, with that advice. uh, you feel that from within. And but don't ever let yourself be told, like, don't, because just these are our rules. Don't. Stay free. Stay free. Intelligence, that's all we got. If your brain tells you to do things, it are your thoughts, but those thoughts were if if you look at the universe, it's enormous. It's huge. It's so big, and if you think about it, how this whole thing called universe is being held together, and the planet Earth is something you can't even see, so small in that whole thing, and uh, still you are important. And a lot well, quite a few times, other people around you think they are important, but why would you think that their opinions or their thinking is of more influence on your development, on your life, on your walk of life, than your own thoughts? Because your own thoughts were created by a bigger thing We don't even understand. We don't get it. Some people get it. They're definitely smarter than me, but believe one thing: the people who did get it, they will never tell you. They like in the Christian philosophy, Jesus also tells the prophet Isaiah that if you found a pearl, you know, bury it deep, deep, deep down and live on. Live on. Don't throw them in front of the swines. And I think that's a very, very true lesson. And within Islam, that's also because it's such a rich. There's so much to explore. There's so much to explore. It's. I don't have words for it, and it's seldom, but there's so much to explore within Islam. There's so much ancient scholars and present scholars also. And don't forget that, because my God, I'm a big fan of. I'm not gonna name names, but who circle around on YouTube or other channels or social medias, and they are so inspiring. They are so inspiring, and the one has charisma, the other has intellect, and but it's the same message. That's also planted in them for a reason, and that's why I think people, or you in this case, if you doubt or have a doubt or think, should I not, should I not, of course, you have to do it within all reason, as they say, but follow your own rules, follow your own lines. Do it. Do it. We used to have a Dutchman. I'm from the Netherlands, by the way. I am from the Netherlands. We speak Dutch, and we live in a province called Holland. But that's another discussion. But before we started to be assholes and conquer countries and continents, before the whole VOC areas, we had a guy. He's called Jan Huygens, and um, he wanted. He was he wasn't granted because he was refused so many times, but he wanted to go on a ship and sail and see the world. And the best chance to do that at that time, yeah, there was to be the Portuguese. They went everywhere. They knew the winds on the Atlantics and the Indian Ocean, and the Spaniards. And so he somehow had to manage to get on a Portuguese ship, a Spanish ship, and that's how he became famous, of course, because everybody knows. I don't know if you know the story, but he copied the compass of the sailing routes, the charts, the cards of the Portuguese. He copied them, and that was a huge beginning of the Dutch VOC, because we had a lot of ships, but we didn't know where to sail to, and all of a sudden we had a purpose, and um, that's what I mean. What's planted in you is also what gives you a purpose in life. Maybe that's what I wanted to point it out. And don't never underestimate it, a purpose. You might have miserable and poor, and I mean, if I just look at myself, I made choices that I thought, well, I'm gonna follow my inner self, and I ended up in real trouble. But it's all gonna be okay. Life is an adventure, and uh, keep it that way. You know, don't. become stumped or numb or yeah, yeah, maybe that's just it. Let's keep it civilized. Just it's yeah, follow your inner self. Follow your inner self. It's so important. And I have a reason why I'm telling this now because if you read my articles on my weblog a bit, you might know my health is a bit not okay. So maybe I'm trying to express. I'm looking outside, by the way. The sun is so beautiful, but maybe I'm trying to give some lessons along the road of some people who need it, and it's a small channel, but a lot of people are watching it. I noticed, and maybe it's not about you or even not you, or maybe it's about you. That one person of the 10,000 who watch a video and they got something with it, and they do pick it up, do something with it, and contribute to the development of the world, because we are in need of development. My God, if you I stopped watching the news years ago, but it's some you just cannot hide for the news, and I'm not even gonna discuss it, but that it's the dangerous times, and we need fresh stand up souls, people who speak for themselves, and not because they were told to speak that way, but speak from themselves, from within, what's planted in you, because it had a reason, it had a purpose. And with that, I think I captured my talk for today a bit. Which, if I noticed the run, it became a bit longer than I planned to. But anyway, I believe I had a barbecue on in my garden downstairs, so I'm going back to see if I didn't set anything on fire in between. But I wish you all a good day, and you know, I keep you all my duas, and be blessed, stay blessed with all of you. We watch sundown till we can eat, and that's it. Don't forget Richard Francis Burden, my trips to Gorilla Land, Jan Huygens. Just type it in Google for a book of him. That must be somewhere in English, and read it, because amazing stories. They will inspire you. I promise you that. Inshallah. Uh, bless you. Next time. See you later. Bye bye.